Kamusta, future LPTs? So, I hope you are reviewing. And sana na iniintindi nyo bawat videos and reviewers na binabasa nyo para sa susunod na taon at exam ay makapasa na kayo. Yay! So, for today's review video, we will be discussing about performance-based assessments. So before we start the formal discussion about performance-based assessments, let's try to answer first the pre-assessment. So first question, what type of performance assessment is dribbling of basketball? A. Extended response assessment, B. Restricted response assessment, C. Authentic assessment, and D. Alternative assessment. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Next question. What type of performance assessment is cooking adobo? A. Extended response assessment, B. Restricted response assessment, C. Authentic assessment, and D. Alternative assessment. Third question. Which of the following is not an alternative assessment? A. Debate, B. Conducting research, C. Short answered essay, D. Obeying traffic rules assessment. Last question. Which of the following assesses affective domain? A. Debate, B. Conducting research, C. Short answered essay, and D. Obeying traffic rules. So what is performance assessments? So it implies that the students need to demonstrate skills by actual performance of a certain tasks rather than answering the answering sheets. So it is a type of assessment wherein the students need to present their performance integrated or related with the concepts or theories they have learned. So before, we have said that answering sheets are not a performance-based assessment. So, is essay writing and crafting poems part of performance-based assessments? Actually, yes, because they are performing their skills in writing and crafting. Kaya, performance-based pa rin siya. So, what is alternative assessment? So, authentic assessment is also called alternative. Kaya, isa lang yan. So, alternative assessment or authentic assessment is a method of evaluation that measures a student level of proficiency in a subject as opposed to the student's level of knowledge. So the overall goal of alternative assessment is to allow students to demonstrate their knowledge and execute tasks. So in alternative assessment, di ba, ginagamit, ina-apply, pine-perform yung mga bagay na natutunan nila. And in authentic assessment, it is based in real situations na kung saan lahat ng natutunan nila ay i-integrate nila into one whole performance. So, teacher must use realistic situations in the testing materials. So, realistic, makatotohanan. Diba yung talagang i-apply sa realidad? Yung assessment. So these are examples of alternative assessment. So here we have portfolio summaries and class reporting. So I presume that you already know what is portfolio. Portfolio is a collection of activities organized and presented. Diba? So these are the collection of what the students learned for the past year. So portfolio is one of an alternative assessment because it shows how the students learned. It shows how the students organize, presents his growth, his works. Kaya naging form siya ng alternative assessment because it is a performance. Next, summaries. It is a performance as well. How the students analyzes, diba? Organize, presented a concept in a short and precise way. Kaya siya naging alternative assessment as well. Next is class reporting. So, alam naman natin that is one of the activities or performances of the students. So, here are other examples of authentic assessments as well. Conducting research, di ba? So, marami yan. Maraming skills when conducting research. Maybe the students' interviews, they collected data, they analyzed this data, they follow rules, they follow instructions, they abide ethics, diba? They write, they summarizes, and so on and so forth. So, napakaraming performances ang nagagawa during the conduct of research. Next is cooking in a cooking class. And next is playing basketballs. So these are all forms of authentic assessments because they have applied what they have learned and what was taught to them. So they applied it, performed it, and the teachers assessed it. So in general, a performance-based assessment measures students' ability to apply the skills and knowledge they have learned from a unit or units of study. Typically, the task challenges students to use higher order thinking skills to create a product or complete a process. So for example, kanina, singing, singing. Yung example natin, or speech. Pero singing na lang. Based sa picture kanina, dito sa gilid. Unang tinuro sa kanila is vocalization. Next is knowing their tune, knowing the tempo, diba? Applying the concepts and theories of music, practicing singing, practicing singing accompanied with instruments. So, yon. And kapag na-apply nila yon and chinek how they perform, then it is authentic assessments already. Performance-based assessments already. So, yung sinasabi dito, knowledge learned from a unit. For example, the Unit 1, learning tones. Diba? Unit 2, learning tempo. Unit 3, vocalization. So, unang unit, di pag-aaralan niya lang. I-assess lang kung alam niya ba mag-identify ng tono. Pangalawa, sa unit 2 is kung alam niya mag-identify ng tempo, alam niya iba't ibang tempo. Diba? Pangatlo is vocalization. Ayun yung sinasabing learn from a unit. Diba? Pag learn from units, ayun yung isang buo. So, yun. So, during the performance, we are actually using higher order thinking skills. So, how? Diba? Ang examples natin na pinag-aralan natin yung vocalization, pag-aral ng tono, tempo, theory in musics. So, during the performance, you analyze those concepts, you analyze those drills, alin ba yung dapat mong gamitin. Then, you evaluate it. Alin ba dapat yung mong gamitin in this situation? Alin ba dapat yung hindi mo gawin? Alin ba dapat yung iiwasan mo? Alin ba dapat yung i-emphasize mo? Diba? Alin ba dapat yung pagsasama-samahin mo? Synthesis na yun. Pagsasama-samahin mo yung tempo, yung tune, yung tone, yung theories, yung genre, di ba? Pagsasama-samahin mo yun, i-integrate mo yun to form a product. And that is what we call synthesis. So, dun pa lang, di ba? In-analyze mo, paano ba gawin yon? I-identify mo, di ba? Analyzation yon. Next is, pumasok yung synthesis, pinagsama-sama mo, pinag-integrate mo, then you apply it into one whole concept, or you generate a one whole product, then you evaluate tama ba yung ginawa mo or not. So, pinagsama-sama mo yung analysis, synthesis, at evaluation. And that is higher order thinking skills na. So, when you are performing a task related to what you have learned, then you are actually using your higher order thinking skills. So, these are the domains of performance-based assessments. We have communication skills, psychomotor skills, athletic skills, and affective skills. So next is communication skills. So what are the kinds of assessments that we can do in this domain? So we have few samples here. We have writing an essay, crafting a poem, interviewing, do impromptu speech, and many more. Next is psychomotor skills. So, ano kaya yung mga pwede? We have focusing a microscope, step-by-step procedural activities. Pag sinabi natin step-by-step, dapat yung step 1 to step 5 to step 10, tama yung ginagawa niya. For example, experimenting how to dissect a frog. Diba? May step 1, step 2, step 3 yun. Dapat tamang masusundan. Okay. Next, appropriate holding of paintbrush. Psychomotor skills yan. Appropriate holding of pencils. Diba? So, and many more. Next is athletic skills. So, this assessments, we have dribbling skills, playing baseball game, dancing, swimming, yun, and many more. So, affective skills, we have these collaborative skills like group works, mental and behavioral skills, obeying rules, respectful listening, choose a sound decisions. So, yun. Choose a sound decisions like leadership, assessments, or choosing what to, not to. Yun. Basta involving discussions, it could be an assessment, an authentic assessment. So, we have two types of performance-based assessment. We have restricted response performance task and extended response performance tasks. So, restricted response is a performance task that is highly structured with limited scope. The instructions of the task are more focused and the limitations are always indicated. So, for example, our activities about basketball. Now, in restricted response, there will be a limit on what the students should do. For example, ang i-assess lang is dribbling. Then, hindi na yung lalagpas. Dribbling lang talaga. For example, ang i-assess lang is shooting. So, yun yung restricted response. Structured siya with a limited scope. Pero pag sinabi naman natin extended response performance task, less structured and broader in scope. So meaning, kung basketball ang activity, then in this type of assessment, yung buong performance during a basketball game yung i-assess. For example, integrated na yung dribbling, passing, shooting, running, diba? Defense, offense, mental attitude, diba? Collaboration. So lahat na yon integrated into one assessment. Ayun yung extended response performance task. It is not limited to, and it is broader. So let's give another example. For example, the assessment is cooking adobo. So in restricted response, very limited lang yung i-assess. So, per unit ang assessment. For example, in Unit 1, ang i-assess lang, how do students marinate? In Unit 2, how the students will slice the chicken. Diba? In Unit 3, the other skills when cooking adobo. So, yun dun yung sa restricted response, pa isa-isa, at very limited yung ina-assess. Pag sa extended response naman, i-assess how you cook adobo, integrating all those skills. Diba? Ang i-assess is yung kabuuhang pagluluto ng adobo and the product itself. So, let's try to answer the post-assessment. Question number 1, what type of performance assessment is dribbling of basketball? So, based from the question, it is obviously that the activity or the concept that they are learning is about basketball. But the teacher only assesses dribbling. So, meaning, it is a restricted response assessment. Because dribbling is only one part of basketball, one skill of basketball. So, the assessment is very limited to that. Next, what type of performance assessment is cooking adobo? So, it is extended response assessment because it is not limited to one skill only. So, the scope is very broad. Why? Because cooking adobo is integrated with numerous performances, diba? With numerous skills, with numerous concepts, diba? And the taste of adobo is not limited to one. It could be varied depending on how the student cooked the adobo. Even the skills on how to cook the adobo is not limited to what was instructed to them. It could be varied depending on their performance. Third question. Which of the following is not an alternative assessment? A. Debate. B. Conducting research. C. Short answered essay. D. Obeying traffic rules assessment. Next, which of the following is not an alternative assessment? Obviously, short answered essay, because short answered essay has a specific answer. So it assesses the cognitive level, and also it is an objective type question. Kaya pencil and paper assessment yan, or traditional assessment yan. Last question. Which of the following assesses affective domain? A. Debate. B. Conducting research. C. Short answered essay. And D. Obeying traffic rules. Last question. Which of the following assesses affective domain? The answer is D. Obeying traffic rules. Kasi yung 1 naman, communication. 2, concept acquisition. 3, hindi yan authentic. And lastly, yan lang yung authentic, yung affective, yung obeying traffic rules. So these are the references of this review video. I hope that you have learned. So if you have any questions with this review video, and you should ask question if you have something that you have not learned, or if you have reactions about the video, you may post it in the comment section. So I do hope that you really learned, and I hope na makapasa kayo sa LET.